Welcome back, Defenders. The last 48 hours were interesting. We're building our own arsenal. Zelensky says Ukraine is making very good progress on missile and drone production. Zelensky says Ukraine's homegrown weapons programs are accelerating, with new missile systems in use and daily drone production nearing 800 units per month. These are not FPV drones. Ukraine is producing tens of thousands of those. These are long-range strike drones to be used on Russian territory. Every update video now, this is what we get to talk about. Dozens, if not hundreds, of Ukrainian drones and missiles being launched into Russia, going after military targets and energy infrastructure. The next couple months are going to be interesting. So what did Ukraine hit over the last 2 days? They got a lot, but let's cover it. Ukraine hits Russia's Saratov oil refinery for the 7th time, but anti-drone mesh stops a strike on a key unit. This is the Saratov oil refinery near the Kazakhstan border. And the only video we have is this. And this is interesting. I can go to the point of impact. And you can see the drone netting protecting one of the distillation towers. So Ukraine took a strike. They took a shot at it. But I do think the nets prevented critical damage to the processor. Doesn't matter. We're still going to count it. This is the Saratov oil refinery. It produces 7 million tons of refined products per year. It's 590 kilometers from the border. Ukraine struck it this month, October, twice in September, once in August, and then again in February and January of this year. So my guess is the Russian military receives critical supplies from this refinery. The second refinery that Ukraine struck, this is a Lukoil facility. This is the Kostovo refinery in Nizhny Novgorod. And here is the video. This is, I think, one of the plant workers walking around after the strike. So I'm going to show a little bit of this video. So that's definitely not normal for there to be a giant fireball and a smoke cloud rising from your refinery. This is being reported that the Kostovo refinery conducted an emergency flare last night. I don't know what the purpose of that is. I guess maybe if pressure is building or if there's nowhere for the products to go, you have to burn them off, otherwise there could be an explosion. That's my assumption. So let's add it to the bingo board. This is the Kostovo refinery, produces 17 million tons of products per year, 800 kilometers from the border. Ukraine struck it once in October. I'm guessing they got something valuable this time. Ukraine strikes hit key Russian industrial plants, triggering widespread blackouts. Drone strikes hit Russian refineries and petrochemical plants, sparking fires and blackouts across several regions. The first plant that Ukraine struck is the Lukoil, and I'm not even going to try and say that word, but there is a video showing the plant on fire in the distance, so this was a successful strike of some kind. The other petrochemical plant attacked, this is the Sturlamak petrochemical plant. This is what it looks like during the daytime, so these are massive complexes. The Sturlamak plant produces synthetic rubbers, aviation fuel, additives, and phenolic antioxidants that feed directly into Russia's industrial and defense manufacturing base. Its rubbers are essential for tires, seals, and components used in military vehicles. So this plant has to be eventually taken offline completely. Powerful explosions reported at the Shakhtarsk oil depot in Russian-occupied Donetsk. This is an oil depot, and I'm guessing it's not very large, but there is a video showing a successful strike on the depot in the distance. It's currently winter, so a lot of these videos are going to be very dark. Russian oil tanker on fire after strike by Ukrainian drones in Krasnodar Krai. This is the Tuapse oil terminal. Ukraine struck it 3 or 4 days ago. And we've gotten more information about the damage. specifically to the Shadow Fleet tankers that were trying to fill up at this terminal when Ukraine struck it. So the terminal has taken severe damage. There were a couple ships that were docked, currently loading up, and these are the reports we're getting from Russian Telegram channels about the damage to the ships. The first one is the small vessel Nord. Apparently it was completely destroyed. There was a fire on the Shadow Fleet tanker Pollux. It's registered in Panama. It was carrying 40,000 tons of petrol at the time. There was a fire on the tanker Chai, registered under Liberia. It was carrying 56,000 tons of products at the time. There was a fire on the tanker Coastbuster, registered in the Bahamas. It didn't have any cargo. There was a fire on the tanker Saturn, registered under Russia, also without cargo. This is something that I've always wondered that Ukraine doesn't do. Like, they don't try and sink Shadow Fleet tankers going into the Black Sea. Obviously don't strike them when they're full and leaving, but when they're returning and empty, seems like a good opportunity. My assumption the last couple years is that Ukraine doesn't do this because then Russia would go after Ukraine's grain shipments. There's kind of like this truce that Ukraine won't strike Shadow Fleet tankers in the Black Sea if Russia doesn't strike grain ships trying to go to Odessa. But if the ships are filling up at an oil terminal, I guess maybe those ships are fair game. Explosions rock ammunition facility in occupied Luhansk. This is just a regular Russian ammunition depot. There's a video, as always. I link everything down below, but you can hear secondary explosions, the pop, pop, pop. I'm guessing a Ukrainian drone visited this Russian ammo depot. 3 Russian radars down in one night in occupied Crimea. Ukraine ramps up precision strikes on Russian air defense assets. If it has a radar signal, Ukraine is seeking it out now and trying to destroy it. This will increase the success rates of their drones and missiles. So Ukraine has been very aggressive the last 3 months. This is where these radars were located in Luhansk, and this is the elite primary Ukrainian units. They've been publishing a lot of videos the last couple of weeks of destroying Russian air defense systems and radars. I can link this down below, but they show clearly they took out the radar system and power supply for an S-400. I'm guessing this is the power supply for the radar. In addition, P-18 radar was targeted and AORL-1AS system, whatever that is. But that's a dish that's now been destroyed. Ukraine hits Russia's first maritime PMC unoccupied Black Sea drilling platform near Crimea. Moscow rushed to claim that a Ukrainian Navy boat was destroyed. What's the truth? Ukraine released the drone video. So this is a Ukrainian drone boat going out to like a drilling platform in the Black Sea. Russia sends out special forces to these units to put up communication systems and surveillance systems. Ukraine had the intelligence that there were special forces on the platform, so they sent out drone boats, they sent out drones. You can see in this video, I'll link it down below, but the Russians, their thermal signatures are showing in the offices, and they're shooting at the drone boat, but they were unsuccessful in destroying Ukraine's drones. Ukraine strikes Russian fuel train and warehouse in occupied Luhansk with a Firepoint 2 drone. Once again, Ukraine has released the video, and yep, this is another fuel car, and it went boom. This is a warehouse. Ukraine took it out, and you can see the buildings on fire as the second drone goes in. Ukrainian drones strike 5 Russian and Russian-controlled substations in response to attacks on Ukraine's energy grid. This was a news story that didn't get a lot of attention this was like 2 or 3 months ago. But President Zelensky made a concerted effort to warn the Russians this was coming. Stop attacking our energy infrastructure going into winter, or else we have to respond. And this is what is currently playing out. As we go into 6 months of winter for the Russians, that's how abysmal the weather is in Russia. Yeah, a lot of Russian citizens this winter are going to be without electricity, heat, and running water. because Ukraine has to respond. These are the videos showing Ukrainian drones taking out electrical substations. This is Russia's energy infrastructure. You can see this is some kind of transformer or converter. Ukraine's compilation videos show the transformers on fire. Here's another one. This is a kilovolt substation of some kind, clearly on fire, and these are everywhere in Russia, and they're largely unprotected. There's nothing Russia can do to stop this. This is where these 5 kilovolt stations are located in Luhansk. This is what Ukraine focused on last night, and I'm guessing Ukraine is trying to knock out the power completely in Luhansk. This is the regional capital of the oblast. The Russians have been occupying this city for more than a decade, and I think this city, along with Donetsk and most of the occupied territories, is going to be without power. This is unfortunate for the captive Ukrainian civilians living in these territories, but at the same time, there are hundreds of thousands of Russian soldiers living in these regions, and they all benefit from having running water and heat and electricity. It's a war. In addition, this is kind of a map showing the strikes that Ukraine is committed to during October. These are all 500 and 750 kilovolt substations, and they're everywhere. And Ukraine is just going to keep blowing up a couple every single night until all of Russia goes dark. This is what Russia's been trying to do to Ukraine for 3 years, and it's now reciprocal. Russia wrote the rules. I can show you pictures of what Russian cities look like without power, but these are not very exciting photographs. This is Nizhny Novgorod. After the petrochemical plant was struck, the power in the city was temporarily knocked out. It's going to keep happening. What is Russia's strategy to make this stop or win the war? Russia targets Ukrainian snack giant in overnight drone strike. A Russian Shahed drone hit a Star Brands warehouse in Pavlograd, destroying food supplies worth millions. It's the second strike this year on one of Ukraine's largest snack producers. Russia's strategy to win this war is to destroy a warehouse of snack foods. This Star Brands warehouse produces raw materials for Flint croutons and Big Bob snacks. Ukrainians are now going to have to survive without Flint croutons and Big Bob snacks. This is horrible. I mean, the people who own this business, this is their life's work. This is probably their life savings. This is their passion. And Russia doesn't know how to win this war. They don't think they can defeat the Ukrainian military. Otherwise, they would only go after valid military targets. So they're just blowing up businesses, anything that gives Ukrainians pride and employs people, pays taxes. This is just terrorism every single night, and it's pathetic. Here's a recap of all the drone and missile strikes from the Russians. If you remember that number of 800 being produced in a single month, Russia sent 5,298 drones and 276 cruise missiles and ballistic missiles. The good news is that 2 Patriot systems were just delivered from Germany. I think Russia's success rate from ballistic and cruise missiles is going to decline, but they're just going to keep sending more. They're going to keep producing more. Their frontline forces are terrible, and Russia thinks this is their winning strategy. Just years and years of constant missile and drone attacks against pig farms and drip coffee companies and snack producers. I'm being serious. That's how Russia thinks they're going to win this war. Ukraine is scaling to 600 to 800 interceptor drones daily, while Berlin and Copenhagen become weapons export hubs. So the goal for Ukraine is to outproduce these Shahed drones. Per unit cost is greater than 20,000, and Ukraine needs to start producing 10 to 1 of $1,000 to $2,000 interceptor drones to take these down. I think the bottleneck is training operators. For everywhere you post guys to shoot down these drones, you need competent crews that know how to operate them. So I think that's the current thing delaying them, but the Allies are helping produce these interceptor drones. So thank you so much to the Germans and the Danish. If you follow this war daily on YouTube, you're going to see lots of videos talking about Pokrovsk. The current situation, Russians are very excited because they've been trying to take this city for a year and a half, and they probably will succeed. So I'm going to tell the story of Pokrovsk by going through the headlines. Pokrovsk turns gray, city becomes zone of chaos and shifting control. Ukraine prevents Russian forces from cutting Pokrovsk's supply road as assault units launch clearing operations. Ukraine is trying to hold on as long as they can. They sent in those helicopters with special forces to try and retake critical positions. But the Russians are going to keep coming. Enemy in almost all quarters. Russian troops push into Pokrovsk. Fierce street battles. Ukrainian forces repel 36 Russian assaults, push forward up 400 meters on the Pokrovsk front. The defenders say Moscow is paying a severe price in what has become one of the deadliest battles of the war. Why are the Russians pushing so hard? Why do they care so much about this city? And it's because Putin has set a deadline. Putin sets deadline for Pokrovsk conquest, throws an additional 17,000 soldiers into the burning city. Putin's goal is to demonstrate that he can dictate terms. It's symbolic. When the Russians take Pokrovsk, they don't care about their casualties, they don't care about their losses. They just want some kind of morale boost for their forces and a symbolic win. They can then tell their allies, they can talk to Trump, and say, we just took Pokrovsk. But this isn't Stalingrad. This isn't Berlin. The pre-war population of Pokrovsk was 60,000. And easily, Russia is going to take 60,000 casualties to take this single city. Killed, captured, and wounded. Putin doesn't care about losses. This is not sustainable going forward if Russia continues to accept these horrendous losses. Rather than try and give you my analysis, I want to give you the analysis of a Ukrainian officer. He's no longer serving, but this is Tataragami. I've been following him for years, and I want to read for you his observations about Pokrovsk. Some observers have described the fall of Pokrovsk as sudden. That may be true if one followed the wrong analysts. In reality, the defense deterioration was apparent as early as 2024 and became unmistakable by 2025, as the underlying dynamics made the outcome nearly inevitable. That the city continued to hold until November is, in itself, an achievement. Still, the rapid loss of positions in summer-fall of 2024, which left logistics vulnerable and exposed the flanks, combined with manpower shortages, largely dictated the outcome now unfolding. Launching a counteroffensive capable of retaking the city and securing its flanks, or even holding for another year, would have required diverting significant resources from other sectors of the front, a trade-off that would result in disastrous situation elsewhere. The broader battlefield dynamics remain unchanged. Russian forces advanced despite sustaining higher casualty ratios of killed and wounded. Persistent issues with Ukrainian units, including manpower shortages and command and control difficulties, are still in place. The key task after withdrawal will be to prevent a repeat of the 2024 situation, when Russian forces achieved rapid gains in both Ocheretny and the Pokrovsk sectors in a short period of time. Ukraine's readiness behind Pokrovsk appears stronger than it was behind Avdiivka. Overall, the defense of Pokrovsk in 2025, given the circumstances, is a notable accomplishment, yet the ultimate result of the defense will depend on whether the Ukrainian command will decide to reinforce the city or conduct an organized withdrawal to better positions. I don't have all the information, so I don't know what Ukraine's command is going to do. Are they going to try and reinforce and retake the city, or do an organized withdrawal? This is about trading land for time, and it's about eliminating as many Russian invaders as possible as you pull back. Russia's casualties cannot be sustained indefinitely at the current levels they're going at. So Ukraine's probably going to pull back. This is different than Avdiivka. Avdiivka, a year and a half ago or even 2 years ago, Ukraine didn't have their own domestic production. Drone warfare wasn't what it is today. The war has changed dramatically just since the fall of Avdiivka, and Ukraine has had 2 years now to prepare stronger and better defense lines in this region. So the war continues, even when the Russians take Pokrovsk. These are the faces of Ukrainian defenders. This is Ukrainian journalist Maria Avdieva. Just saw this photo from the ceremony of Kharkiv's legendary 92nd Brigade, held in the metro, because that's how Kharkiv lives now. Look at these faces. They are the shield holding back barbarity. Glory to our warriors, glory to Ukraine. I look at these faces and these guys are going to continue defending their homes. They're going to continue defending their land. Even without the support of the West, they're never going to stop. Russia is not giving them a choice. And concerning the morale of Ukrainian forces, the Russians are putting out deep AI fakes because they don't have any real videos. These are being going viral online because everyone falls for stupid AI videos if it confirms what they already believe. But this is the Sora AI logo. It's going to skip around. But the internet is being flooded with these AI-generated videos of Ukrainian soldiers surrendering. I want to share these with you.
Мы сдаемся, оружия нет. Стреляйте, пожалуйста. Простите нас. Мы хотим жить. Мы поняли, что это все зря. Нам нечего здесь делать. Народ России, прости.
Let me share another one with you. You really should be able to tell this is fake.
Не опускай руки, держи выше. Шевелите! Вперед пошли, смотрим под ноги. Оружие, все. Быстрее! Шагай, Петронь.
I really don't like AI, guys. I think this is a scourge. I think this is a step back for humanity, and this is going to do more harm than good to our society, to our news, to our culture. This kind of stuff should be banned. This shouldn't be allowed. I'm just saying the fact that anyone in India can just generate AI slop and then make money from it going viral amongst people who support Russia. That's basically what's happening right now. Let's get to the good news. UK sends more Storm Shadows to Ukraine, according to Bloomberg. The UK has resupplied Ukraine with more Storm Shadow cruise missiles for long-range strikes inside Russia. Thank you so much to the fantastic Brits. Denmark pledges $1.4 million for Ukrainian heritage as UNESCO counts 500 sites destroyed by the Russians. Thank you so much to the Danish. Okay, so yesterday we launched our latest channel fundraiser with the guys of the NATO 69th Sniffing Brigade. If you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you know about our previous fundraisers. This is our 6th one, and the goal, once again, is $1 million. That's a lot of money, but this YouTube community has done it 5 times. We had the birthday campaign, the 1,000 Days of War campaign, the Christmas campaign, the Invictus campaign, and then the Save the Donkeys campaign. And this YouTube community, just from the patch campaigns, has fundraised $5,967,000 from 67,000 individual donations. I am not desensitized to how incredible this is. Thank you so much to everyone who watches these videos and chooses to support Ukraine. It doesn't matter how. Giving a like, giving a comment, sharing, volunteering, writing your representatives, if you can, donating. It all makes a difference. You're part of this, and Ukraine really appreciates it. So we launched this fundraiser less than 24 hours ago, and we are currently at $365,000 from 3,152 individual donors. Astonishing. I think this is the fastest one. I think the previous 5 campaigns, we did not fundraise over $360,000 in less than 24 hours, guys. So if you're not familiar by now, this money goes to the Help 99 website. It's paid out to the guys in Estonia. They buy trucks, fix them up, and then convoy deliver them to Ukraine. These are the individual Ukrainian units that request trucks and vans. So let me share another unit video. This is the Anti-Aircraft Missile and Artillery Division of the 39th Brigade. This is them asking us for help.
We are Anti-Aircraft Missile and Artillery Battalion to the 39th Separate Coastal Defense Brigade. We need a bus for our anti-drone squad to better defend Ukrainian sky. We ask nato and the Help 99 charity fund to support our request. Slava Ukraini! Героям слава!
Let's get this anti-drone unit a bus. Thank you so much, everyone, for your incredible support for this channel and for Ukraine. I'll put the links to everything down below if you haven't seen the fundraiser video yet. Thank you again. Final video I want to share with you are the other Ukrainian heroes, the defenders of Ukraine cities. These are the first responders. This is a video from Anton showing the incredibly dangerous work of first responders trying to save lives. Every time the Russians send a drone or a missile into an apartment building, Ukrainian paramedics, firefighters, and construction crews race to the site to try and save lives. Let me show a little bit of their work.
Гляньте, що витворяють наші МЧСники. Це просто, герої, хлопці. Гляньте, заліз прямо на плиту. Чувак, зараз хоче на переломі повністю зачепити цю плиту, бо під плитами є людина, не знаємо, ще жива чи не жива. І буде цю величезну плиту зараз відривати від основи. І пробувати спускати, а потім оці три плити, які висять, і будуть пробувати доставатись до, будемо надіятися, що ще живої людини. Оце от настоящі хлопці і герої, хмельничани. Слава українцям!
That's all for this update video. Glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. If you found this video informative, give me a thumbs up. Best way to support the channel. Comments and questions, let me know down below. I love hearing from you guys. Till the next video, keep defending the truth, keep defending democracy.